Hey everyone, welcome back to What Can Brown Jazz Vinyl. It is September 27th, and that is important because today there was a couple of really exciting pre-orders that were announced, actually three of them. And then I also wanted to talk about another upcoming release. It was actually announced a while ago for pre-order, but it's coming up really soon, and so I wanted to talk about it as well. So the first one that I wanted to dive into is one that I think probably all of us who are interested in jazz vinyl got really excited about, and that is the Craft Small Batch series. This was their fourth release in the series. You know, there was a lot of excitement going into this after Lush Life, Eastern Sounds, and then Relaxin' by Miles Davis. So three outstanding initial releases in the series, and the fourth one was announced just this morning for pre-order. I think it went on sale about 9 a.m. Eastern, and then there was or actually 10 a.m. Eastern, and then there was a general sale, pre-order sale that went on at noon. But I have every confidence that it is still available for anyone who might be interested in it. So what was that release? Well, with all of the excitement, I think all of us were hoping it was going to be like an Alice Coltrane record, or it was going to be, I don't know, more Kenny Dorham or something. I have no idea. But what we got was Vince Guaraldi's jazz impressions of Black Orpheus. So just a couple of particulars first about this record. And by the way, this is not the record, right? Hasn't been issued yet. This is simply a original stereo pressing that I have. So a couple of particulars about this release. So the Small Batch series was announced at the same time as a triple LP box set for this very same record. So to kind of explain these two different releases, the Small Batch is a one-step all analog release. It is just a single disc. It is mastered by Bernie Grundman, and it is on sale for $109.99, or about 110 bucks. It is being put out on 180 gram vinyl. It is pressed at RTI. And again, this one-step lacquer process is what they're using. And this particular release is limited to 3,000 copies worldwide. Now, at the same time, they decided to release this 3LP release. And so what do you get with that 3LP? Well, first of all, and perhaps most importantly, it is not mastered by Bernie Grundman, or not cut by Bernie Grundman. It is actually cut by Kevin Gray. So this is kind of interesting, right? Because I feel like Kevin Gray has been a part of a lot of really exciting releases lately, and he's essentially being given, second seat, or if you will, for this particular release. And it may be because Bernie Grundman was responsible behind the Analog Productions reissue that was a number of years ago. I'm not, that's just purely speculation. So what you get, though, is you get the original album. You get 16 additional tracks or takes. I think it's a mixture of like outtakes as well as like alternate takes of some of the tracks on the record. So kind of interesting that they're spreading that across 3 LPs. This one, they say, is cut from the analog master, and the bonus material, I believe, is transferred from the original analog tapes. And I'm actually not sure. The language is important, right? Because they're definitely talking about different things when they say one step, and then when they're talking about the triple LP, they speak about it in different terms. And so I would actually encourage you to check out the Craft Recordings website for some of those particulars, because what it sounds like to me is that the one step is cut from the original masters without a digital step, and it sounds like the triple LP version has a digital step with perhaps even a different process for some of this bonus material. So anyway, the triple LP is also on 180 gram vinyl. It's going to be on sale for $75. And I don't believe that they're actually limiting the quantity, so they're probably leaving themselves open to some type of repressing it in the future. So certainly go and get it if you're interested in that triple LP, because who knows, both if it's going to be in stock, how long it's going to be in stock, and then when the reissue might come after. But certainly, if you're interested in that one step, probably best to get on it. With the caveat that the Miles Davis Relaxin' one step that they announced earlier this year is actually still available. So that is that with these again, these two different options for jazz impressions of Black Orpheus. A couple of quick thoughts on this album, actually, before we kind of move on to some of the other to the other releases, because I do want to make a point that this video is more about kind of some of these new releases rather than in-depth analysis of these albums. So some people were kind of disappointed with this release or this announcement. And I have to say, I'm not one of those people. I actually really, really enjoy this album. For me, it's probably number 2 in the Guaraldi catalog, behind the Christmas album that everybody knows and loves. And certainly this is my favorite of his sort of non-Peanuts or non-Charlie Brown work. I think it's really stellar. I actually love the original soundtrack that this is inspired by. This has the excellent track Cast Your Fate to the Wind. Even if you've never heard this album or never owned it, you've probably heard Cast Your Fate to the Wind. It's just it's really an iconic track, and kind of the sort of separation of this album is really interesting, because on one side of it is this, as the name suggests, Jazz Impressions of Black Orpheus, which was a movie, and on the other, it's kind of just other Guaraldi tracks with the same lineup, presumably at this recorded at the same session. But it's kind of interesting where they sort of sandwich these two things together, maybe not unlike Miles Davis's jazz track album for Columbia. So that is, anyway, that's Jazz Impressions of Black Orpheus. I personally am quite excited about this. I think that Fantasy didn't do that great of a job, honestly, putting a number of their early albums out, especially on color vinyl, and actually this particular copy is on blue vinyl. So I'm really interested to see what Kraft is able to do in terms of extracting additional detail out of that original recording, and really giving us the best possible version that there could be. All right, these next two are actually super exciting, whereas I think some of us got a little bit of a heads up on the small batch because Kraft kind of referenced it the other day that they were going to be having this announcement. In fact, it may have even been Friday. They told us, hey, on Tuesday, we're going to have a pre-order for a as yet unannounced title. The difference with these next two is that I haven't actually seen an announcement yet. I've only seen it popped up on Acoustic Sounds, on Amazon, I think a few other retailers, but I haven't seen any like press release about it. And both of these albums are just really exciting. So firstly, just to kind of introduce this, what this series is the Verve By Request series. That's what they're calling it. I know that this series is going to involve transfers from the analog tapes. They are remastered on 180 gram vinyl, and they are pressed at Third Man in Detroit. So the two releases that we have that were, again, just announced, they're available for pre-order. And I want to say that the release is actually coming up really soon. It's like November 11th, whereas that small batch release, we have to wait until the end of February. So what those two releases are, firstly, it is Alice Coltrane, Ptah the El Daoud. Believe I'm pronouncing that accurately. This is just one of those records that has skyrocketed in value, really since the pandemic. You know, you used to be able to get this for like, I don't know what, like $60, $70 for at least for a number of years. And now, I've been seeing this thing go for like $500. I mean, it's kind of insane. Again, this is not that record. This is an original, actually it's an original promo, which is fun. So anyway, that is one of the two, and that I'm really excited about. Now that I'm thinking about it, I was just referencing in the small batch, was like, oh, you know, people might expect it to be an Alice Coltrane. Well, of course it wouldn't be, because Kraft doesn't have that catalog. But you know what I'm getting at, like, you know, people might have been expecting that to be a more exciting title. But here we have Ptah the El Daoud that is finally getting a reissue. I want to say this is going to be the first U.S. Reissue since 1974. There's been other reissues that were frankly bootlegs. I keep seeing them pop up on eBay, and there's like no information about them. I don't even know who made them. But anyway, it's difficult to get this record in any form, and the fact that we're going to have an official release, I think is really exciting. And so the other one is almost as exciting, maybe just not quite, and that is Beat by Roy Brooks. So this is another one. Actually, it hasn't had a U.S. Reissue ever. And so not on I don't think even in like CD form. I think it's just the 1964 U.S. vinyl pressing, which is what this copy is. As you can see listed right here, you have Blue Mitchell, you have Hugh Lawson, Junior Cook. I mean, some of these guys are Blue Note guys, right? This happened to be originally released on Workshop Jazz, which put out some really interesting titles. Some with I want to say some session musicians from another label that's escaping me. Might have been Motown. That's probably what it was. So anyway, really interesting stuff. Both of these, right? And again, both are available currently for pre-order. To be honest, because again, I haven't seen any official release about this. There's very limited information that I know about these yet. I just know that they are official releases, and again, you can buy them through some of these outlets. And the price is super exciting, right? It's only $29.99. I mean, that's even cheaper, I think, than the Acoustic Sounds Verve series, which are these days like $35 to $40 depending on the title. Actually, maybe even some of them are like $45. So really exciting, inexpensive. Hopefully these are going to be high quality reissues, fingers crossed. And like I said, I'm excited about them. All right, so those first three are all sort of pre-orders that were announced today and available in the future. But fortunately, there's actually this last one here, which it isn't yet available, but it's actually shipping on the 30th, which I think is this Friday. I'm super excited about it. I pre-ordered it a while ago, and that is the Futuristic Sounds of Sun Ra. So this is a record that was originally put out on Savoy. It is being reissued by Craft Recordings, so I'm just kind of bookending this video with Craft. Really excited about this title. It's $29.99. Again, goes on sale on the 30th of September, at least here in the U.S. So just a few days from now. And kind of why they chose this title. Well, not only is it deserving of a reissue, but it's the 60th anniversary of its original release. This particular edition is going to be all analog remastering by Kevin Gray, pressed on 180 gram vinyl at RTI. Again, for more details on the particulars, I'd encourage you to go over to Craft Recordings' website. I know more and more labels are being very transparent with how they talk about these things. So please don't listen to me. Go to the source for verification. But again, this is one I pre-ordered a while ago. They actually have the ability to pre-order it with a new book that is being put out that basically compiles Sun Ra's album covers over the years. So I think many of us know, a number of Sun Ra's albums, both studio albums as well as certainly live albums, had hand-drawn covers. And so this idea that no two covers are alike is a big thing if you're a Sun Ra collector. I personally am not a Sun Ra collector. I think this and maybe two other albums, I think that's all I have. I'm trying to think what they are. Probably the heliocentric album from the ESP put out, as well as Languidity, and then the Futuristic Sounds of Sun Ra. So I'm not one of those guys that gets like really into it. Actually, I have the Transition one too, but I really like his early work especially. I just find it easier to absorb for me in my tastes. So again, very excited about this release. Can't wait to get my copy in, and you can be sure that there'll be a comparison video between the original pressing and the reissue as soon as I have that in my hands. So keep an eye out for that video coming up very soon. Thank you for watching today, and please subscribe to my channel. I would very much appreciate it. I'll see you next time.